Welcome back. April is Donate Life Month, and you can help in this. Here to raise awareness about the life-saving impact of organ, eye, and tissue donation is Lifebanc CEO Katie Payne. I'm so happy to have you sitting here with me.
Thank you. Good to be here.
I spoke with Katie at their central offices a few weeks ago because we are putting together this amazing show, half-hour special that we really hope you tune in for, and we'll talk to you more about that. But again, this all stems from our wanting to help get the word out there about what you do.
Yes.
And I always, and I know we kind of talked about this in the past, I always think that when someone has such a personal connection to something, they're able to do what they do even better. They're able to understand so much more. And I know you've had to address, but I think it's also beautiful for you to get to always talk about your brother.
Yeah.
But your brother is really his legacy is living on, is such a catalyst for everything you do.
Yeah. When I was 21 years old, my older brother Billy, who was 25 at the time, was in a tragic car accident. And so at the time, my family was asked to make the decision if he could be a tissue and eye donor. And we said yes. And 15 years after we were asked that question, I went on to work for the very same company that helped facilitate his donation.
So instead of what some would feel would be to run away from something that was so traumatic and so deeply affecting, you ran towards it.
Yeah.
You wanted to continue. And how much of it was a push from him to carry on that memory and that legacy and that life that he was so beautifully lived?
I would love to say that there was some sort of plan on my part for this, but it was actually very wild how life just opens doors for you and you get to choose whether you're going to walk through them or not. And so I decided to become a nurse many years after his death and ended up working in a transplant program because that was a job that was open and it was a job that I got, and things just kept coming. And then I got offered a job in an organ procurement organization. And like I said, you decide if you're going to walk through those doors or not. And I did. And now it's led me to Cleveland to also carry on the message of donation and my brother's legacy.
Well, and I can't help but think maybe that he kept opening those doors for you.
It's possible, yeah.
But again, this is so much greater than one person. What you do is helping save so many lives. So you are in connection with 80 hospitals and universities throughout the area?
Yeah, so here in Northeast Ohio, we work in 20 counties, and that's about 80 donor hospitals. And then we work with every transplant program across the country. So it's possible that lungs can go to Alaska and kidneys can go to California, but many of the organs that come from Northeast Ohio do stay in this community. So we are helping your neighbors and the people who teach your children at school and the nurse who is doing your dialysis treatment are all being benefited by the donation from our community.
And I know that there's still a bit of a stigma that stands. People worry, if I become an organ donor, is someone going to still try to save my life in those very last moments? What do you say to those people?
That is a really big one I hear every single day. And the important thing to know, I am a nurse, is most of the time when you go to the hospital, they don't have your driver's license. They're not looking at it. But if it is something that worries you, there are other ways to become a donor without putting it on your driver's license. You can become registered through MyChart. If you've been to the doctor recently, they ask you to sign up. You can be registered to be a donor there. There's a national registry, so you can go to registerme.org. On your iPhone, you can become a registered for donation. But the most important way is to talk to your family and friends about what your wishes are. If you decide not to register, if they know that that's what you want, then that's something we can still do at the end of your life.
Wow, and so just having you having told them, they can then consent to have you.
Yep.
Which, and again, we have this amazing special that is going to be coming up on the 15th. It is at 7:30. You'll hear more from Katie at that time. We have so many beautiful stories. One of a young man who was a recipient and then became a donor as well.
Yeah.
Very rare,
Very
but
rare.
it happened.
Yes.
And again, there's so many ways, as you just mentioned, for us to do this, to get on board, and so many misconceptions out there. So I'm sure you would highly recommend people to go to your website,
Go to our
learn
website.
more.
Call us if you have questions. We're happy to answer any questions about how the process works. If there are things that have been in the back of your mind for years that you're concerned about, you can also talk to your primary care provider, somebody that you trust. But I also want to encourage people to watch these stories about families who have been impacted by donation or by transplant, because they are the source for all of that great information.
And you can also choose if you want to give to someone that you know who is in need.
Yes, that's called directed donation, which is really wonderful. So at the end of your loved one's life, if you know somebody who is on dialysis and needs a kidney transplant, you can directly donate your loved one's organ to that person. So even though you may be losing, one of the most important people in your life, you can also save someone you love at the very same time.
It's such a powerful thing to address, to think about the dynamic that is involved in all this, but it's a beautiful one, and that's why we really hope you tune in on Wednesday, the 15th of April at 7:30. Bernie Kosar and I will be hosting it, and you will hear more from Katie again and some other wonderful organ recipients. Thank you so much for coming in
Thanks
today
for
and
having me.
sharing this with us.